when I was in high school and then when I started college, I had a strong desire to help people.
I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian, and my counselor in high school said, if you don't get into vet school or med school, then you're probably going to end up being a high school biology teacher or something like that. So have you ever thought about pharmacy?
I had wanted to be a nurse from the very beginning. I don't know if it was from being very young and reading Cherry Ames books and wanting the cape she had. I'm not quite sure what it was, but I had just always wanted to be a nurse.
Before I joined the military, I was a carry-out boy at a grocery store, and there was this couple that used to come in, and he had a nice Porsche 911, and she had a nice, beautiful Jaguar. And I said, "Sir, what do you do for a living?" He says, "I work in pharmacy."
The first job I can remember wanting to have when I grew up was to be Tom Swift, boy inventor.
So when I went to the recruiter and they said, you have the opportunity, you can pick from this portfolio of jobs, and I saw pharmacy, and all I could see was that Porsche and that Jaguar.
I wanted to be a pharmacist, and I actually started in pharmacy school, and I made it through first year, and I found out that I cannot do differential calculus.
I don't know that there was a time before I wanted to get into healthcare. I've really wanted to be in it all my life.
I actually have a degree in biology, but I've worked in either retail pharmacy or hospital pharmacy, and then I came to Pyxis.
I think the thing that changed for me was in 1997 when I decided to leave the hospital and go into the corporate side of healthcare. And so my wife was pretty quick to point out that now you're no longer caring for a single hospital full of patients, you're caring for all hospitals full of patients. And that kind of level set my attitude, and really, I've from day one, this is what I've wanted to do. It's what I get out of bed for in the morning. I'm in my 17th year with CareFusion. I started in 1997.
Started with Pyxis in late 1989.
29 years.
Over 30 years.
19 years.
20 years.
29 years now.
In 1984, when we were IVAC at the time, we were owned by Eli Lilly.
I was the second customer of Pyxis in the U.S. when one of the employees, one of the original folks at Pyxis, reached out and offered me a job.
I started as a consultant to both IMED and IVAC in the very early days back in the 70s. I was involved with intravenous nutrition and trying to give a patient 3,000 calories a day through a central catheter with a roller clamp, trying to adjust the flow. It just didn't work. Patients were having all kinds of metabolic complications. And so I went to the surgery department and said, hey, they have these new infusion pumps. We need to get some of these. So I got $3,000, bought 3 IMED pumps, only because somebody told me that was a good pump that had just come on the market. And the next thing I knew, we had 50 of these pumps, and so it started to kind of take off.
That led to, in 1996, a remarkable reunion of 2 twins separated at birth, some would say.
And then about every 3 or 4 years, something changed. IMED and IVAC, became IMED IVAC, IVAC IMED, NUCO, whatever, and then they ultimately settled on Elur.
Starting with SensorMedics Critical Care in 1997, then we became Thermo Respiratory Group as part of a Thermo Electron. After that, we spun off as Viasys Healthcare. Then we were acquired by Cardinal Health, and then the subsequent spin-off of CareFusion.
Before I started my Pyxis career, I was at a hospital, and they came to my hospital, and we changed on how we did healthcare at that hospital. And I was excited about it when they came in, and when they left, I said, I got to be a part of that company.
When I first started working at Pyxis, it was a very small company. There were less than 300 people in the whole company. And so everybody wore many hats.
One of the very first things that we did was cross-train the sales force. The IVAC sales force had to be trained on the IMED products, which they had been selling against all these years, and vice versa. And so that was really a very interesting start to the company, because you have these very competitive companies all of a sudden merged together. That was a unique experience.
There's been such a progression of how we've brought safety to our patients, to our customers.
When I look back on the early Pyxis days, what was exciting about it is we were developing something that the customers want. Going in and changing the whole medication model in hospitals.
I go back to 10 years prior to joining the IVAC company, I worked for a major medical center, and there I saw a lot of things happening that, in terms of injuries to patients or problems occurring, that I felt could be solved by the right technologies. And it's that I really spent a good part of my career here at IVAC, Alaris, Cardinal Health, and now CareFusion working toward.
With the advent of guardrails, that's when things really, really changed. That's when we were not just monitoring IV sites, protecting IV sites, but that's when we started to get into the realm of saving lives, making a difference on a grand scale.
Over the years, I've been able to contribute around 60 patents on a variety of technologies, but all of them are really aimed at one thing, which is to make the experience of the patient safer.
Well, the medical systems team with Pyxis, Alaris, and Viasys shares a lot of common purpose and common process in terms of what they do. For the most part, acute care-focused companies and business units who work together to understand complex care processes and synthesize that and come up with ways to improve it, and each of those processes that make it more effective, make it safer, make it cost less. So it's very common, I think, theme that runs across those businesses.
We have two customers. We sell products to hospitals and physicians' offices and a variety of customers, but we also serve the end user of the product. And our customers, ultimately the consumer of our product, the patients we serve, they didn't get to pick where they went. They didn't get to pick CareFusion. So we have a responsibility to those customers to make sure that everything that they experience on our devices is top of notch. It just has to be the best.
It's amazing when you got, the number one leading ventilator company, you got the number one leading IV pump business, and you got Pyxis. Amazing. I mean, when you got three of those working together, and then you start working on how do they all going to interconnect between each other, there's nobody that's going to be able to touch us. Nobody. And that's amazing to be a part of.
I remember the other day leaving a large hospital that I'd helped solve a problem at, and thinking as I looked at that institution from a distance down the road, wow, we have more than 2,000 of our products there, and we have opportunity to touch the lives of so many people simultaneously. But with that goes the great responsibility of doing it in the very best way that we know how.
So when I think about medical systems and I think about how our business units, which initially operated as pretty discrete independent operations, now are coming together, I get very excited. And I see great potential between these business units where the aspects and the processes involved in one and the aspects and the processes in the other, as they come together, it opens up such great new opportunities for us to create new products, to create new ways of solving old problems.
There's customers that have ventilators in their facility, and they're going to leverage and pull the Pyxis products in. There's people that have Pyxis machines, and we're going to leverage to pull the pumps in, because nobody's going to be able to talk amongst the devices like the medical systems team.
I really think that CareFusion will be remembered as a company that's uniquely positioned and willing to provide education and opportunity and really collaborate with their customers rather than just providing them a product.
When we align, when we collaborate, when we sell together, we're able to offer a solution to a hospital that nobody else in the marketplace can do. And that's so unique. Things like that don't last forever, and we need to seize it while it's here.
This is our history.
These are our stories.
This is about more than where we've been.
It's about where we're going.
Now it's your turn.
It's your turn.
Take us forward
To the next level.
To work together towards something new.
Something better.
to carry on our commitment, our passion, and our purpose.
Our passion and our purpose.
We have an opportunity.
To change the future of healthcare.
Now, it's your turn.
It's your turn.
It's your turn.
To make history.